Coach, kind of where do you go from here, I guess? First question being.
Well, we still have a few bodies to talk to, and meetings are going well, and it's just
What about you as a coach?
well, wait and see. I'm sure after everything's said and done and settles, and like I said the last time we talked, I'm probably the last thing they got to worry about, and hopefully we'll get talking here soon, so I kind of have a little guidance of where I'm going and what I need to do, and et cetera. And if I got to go look for another job, I get the resume out and start looking.
Do you have any idea how a timetable?
No, there's no real set timetable, but seeing what's been done over the years and being part of this organization, they're pretty classy that way. They don't, keep you hanging in the winds, and I'm sure we'll be able to hash something out. I hope, and if not, that's fine. That's up to them, and I'm okay with that. I'm not always wouldn't be happy, but I'd love to stay. But I respect their decisions and whatever they do, and we'll go from there.
If you were making a case for yourself, what are some of the things you feel like you achieved this year that you did well this year?
Well, I think I handled all the adversity that was thrown at us when the switch was made. We had a lot of injuries and a lot of different players in and out of the lineup every night. I think I did a good job managing that. I'm always a believer there's always room for improvement. Like I said before, if you think you figured this game out, you're not a very good coach. And I can always get better, and I will get better. So hopefully they see that, and that'll help my case.
How much do you like working with this core of this team since you've been with them now for a couple of years?
Well, it's great. The big thing here is, I think, just the way they run it. Chicago lets their staff down here in Rockford do their job. Nobody's breathing down your neck telling you have to do this, you have to do that. I think we have a good staff here. It was great working with Anders. He's a very smart hockey guy. Hopefully they don't give him the head job, but it's just real good. I think the development part of they really have it. They nailed it, and a lot of teams don't. And I think Chicago's doing the right things with these kids, and I enjoy it. So hopefully I can continue doing it.
Speaking of development, guys are up and down out of the lineup this year. You still managed to finish with 80 standings points. Is that a positive?
Yeah, I think it's a huge positive. I'm a big believer that I still think, even though we had some different bodies in here, the guys that we had in here could have got the job done. It wasn't always perfect. We had some ups and downs. Our goaltending was outstanding this year. I thought our young D played really well, considering how young they were. We defended well. We just couldn't find the net. And then with all the injuries, a lot of times most of our injuries were key guys that, were here to score goals or put up numbers, and we just couldn't stay healthy long enough to really get on a little roll. But that's it's learning for me, and like I said, I don't make excuses. We still had enough, I think, to make the playoffs. It's just maybe think about the other teams are doing just as good as us, and it was a tight division.
Just thinking big picture, Coach, how confident are you in the trajectory of this team and Chicago as well? Because there's still a lot of young talent to come and a number 3 draft pick as well.
There's a bunch of young talent maybe be turning pro next year. Plus, we just saw a few of our guys that are going to be with us next year, and it's exciting. They're young and they're eager, and I'm looking forward to it if I am back to work with these kids, because I think the first year I was here was a lot of just older guys that maybe weren't really prospects up front. And then last year I think we had a couple, but this year I think we're going to have, in the following years, we're going to see a lot more, like you said, younger guys coming up. That's always nice to see, young talent coming up and get a chance to work with them.
How would you chart the development of Henry and Dylan? Dylan's 3 stints here and Henry 2, in terms of when you got them and where they were on Sunday.
Well, obviously Henry's maybe a little bit different case because he started with the NHL. I think he's improved in other areas that he needed to work on. Defending was the big area, and I think he's done a great job with that. And Gilbert was great. From Traverse City to now, he's a night and day. And hats off to him because he puts the work in. He's a good pro. He's learning. Hats off to our veterans that helped with cases like that. And I'm looking for big things from him. next year, and who knows, he might even make a case for himself with Chicago.
And how about Dylan Secura?
Siki was great. I mean, there was areas of his game I feel he had to work on, and that was when he didn't have the puck. When he came down this last time, I think he took over hockey games for us, and he was dominating. And a lot of it was due to working without the puck and getting the puck back quicker. And you saw some of the games, what he can do out there at this level. So now he just has to hone it and take it to the next level, and I think he will.
Kind of have two objectives down at this level: is to win games, obviously, and then develop the players. Can we tell yet whether you were successful in that developing the players? Is that something we have to wait and see if you can look back and say this was a successful year?
I think it was successful that way. I mean, I tried not to put the winning in front of putting kids in the lineup and putting them in situations. It's not always perfect, and I'll get better at it, and I can always get better at it. But I don't think that a young kid coming in this dressing room this year could say they didn't get a fair shot of playing in big games or even getting the opportunity to play at all. We needed to win games, obviously, but I still had, in and out of the lineup, I was always rotating guys, putting in new guys, putting in young guys, putting them in situations, and especially even at the end there. Reese Johnson and Hagel and Karashev, like, they were in our lineup, and could have easily just sat them and said, just, go work out and watch and learn, but you're not going to learn, you're not going to develop players like that. You have to get them in the lineup, and I thought I did a good job like that.
Makes your job tougher that way, doesn't it?
It does, and it makes it's maybe as if you had an older veteran team, they might be looking at you as a coach like, what are you doing? We're trying to win this, but I think anybody who's in the lineup, anybody who's a pro hockey player now can actually do the job. They can get a puck out of their own end. They can put a puck deep, and they can go on a forecheck. Anyway, is the offense going to be there for them right away? Probably not, but that's how they learn.
It seems like you had no idea what they're thinking in Chicago about your future. Like, you have no gut feeling as to what's going to happen one way or the other. Am I reading that right? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to think that they were happy with me. I don't think they were. It's not like, oh my God, at the end of the year. If I was being let go, I'm sure at the end of the year I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. It would have been already done. So I feel confident in that. And like I said, working with the organization from Stan and those guys, Al, John, and Bernie, these guys have been real good to me and real classy about me, keeping me around after the first firing and then giving me the opportunity to do this. I think I showed well, and I'm pretty confident, but I just don't like to go out and say, yeah, I'm back next year and be that confident. You never know. Things happen. It's just the way this game is. So we'll see what happens, but I'm hoping for good things.
So your exit interview's in a couple days, you say?
I hope it longer. Maybe I go in hiding or something. They won't find me. But yeah, I'll probably have some talks with everybody and rehash the whole season, what went well and what things we need to work on.
Well, in your mind as a coach, I mean, where did you feel like was the biggest lesson that you learned and what went well? And you said you're always looking to grow and become better for the next season. What is it that you're looking to build upon and grow with?
Well, I think, like I said, if you think you figure the game out, you're not a very good coach, right? So I can work at everything. But I think the real big thing was just the managing the players, getting to know them. And I think it's tough when there's different players in the lineup each and every night. We're getting guys that I don't know anything about. They're getting called up from the coast, and you don't know how far you can push them or what you need to do to get them going. So I think that's the big thing for me, is just managing those guys a little better, like knowing who needs a kick in the butt, knowing who needs a hug, and know who you can really push. And the coaches I had over my career, they were all great at it. They knew how to manage players. It wasn't as much the X and O's and the systems and everything, but they knew how to push buttons and knew how to get the best out of their players. And that's something I'm going to have to work at and get better at, which I will.
How much of a struggle was it for Viktor this year? It seems like compared to a year ago, and he had that playoff that he had, messing a little bit with health problems early on, but he never really seemed to get that game of his back. And is he going into this offseason a little lacking in confidence, you think?
Well,
it sure sounds that way.
Yeah, he might be. I don't think he lacks confidence. I think he has a little bit. a lot of confidence. I think he knows what he needs to do. You know, coming in here at the playoffs, I mean, he was just, you know, come in and play. There's no pressure on him or anything. But now, this year, a little more pressure of him trying to hone his game and be a prospect and maybe even get a call up. I think the ups and downs and the injuries and that's a learning curve for him. And he's got to use that as a positive to build off. And I'm sure you're going to see him back next year, that coming out swinging. So I'm looking forward to him.
How much did you rely on, you know, the few veterans you still had left as kind of being almost assistant coaches for you, like as it being your first year?
Those guys are huge. And we talked about it a lot after games when we talked here. These guys manage themselves. We started closed doors meetings where these guys would take over the locker room and just have you know, their powwows on what we need to do better, what we didn't do well in the game, and I think it worked really well for them. And it's huge for us as a staff because, you know, there's third, fourth extra coaches. We don't have to be in there and always monitoring, especially when you have a young team, and we'll probably have a younger team next year.